Good morning. Welcome to Thought for the Day. It is going to be a few thoughts. I thought I had today all nicely planned and got up early to do some things because Elaine's decided that the living room's going to be decorated. So the last time it was done was quite some time back. It was done. We moved things around and painted and paper up and did what we did. This time she decided that we're going to go to the place and do it properly, which seems sensible. That means we've got to move furniture, and I'm certainly not up to the task of shifting planners like we used to do. So, got some people coming round today who are going to do that. So I decided I'd get up early and sort out the wiring, and there's lots of things that just need sorting out. Elaine's been packing, just as if we're moving house, really. Keep all the ornaments and things safe. And I give her a nudge this morning, and I said, "Oh, don't forget it's your thought for the day." And she goes, "Okay, I was up late last night. I said, "All right, I'll do it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll do it." So here we are. And I was looking around at all the things that need to be done, and noticed that on the wall, all the heights. I don't know if you do this, but we have of our grandchildren and our great grandchildren now. It's interesting that this history, which it is family history, goes back over 10 years. The first one I've recorded on it was done in 2010 around Christmas. So somebody come up with the idea around Christmas 2010. Hey, wouldn't it be a good idea to see what the heights of the kids are and see how they've grown? And that's sort of gone on ever since. We have a historic memorial, as it were, at the back of the door. So I've decided we're going to not only keep that recording, because obviously it's going to get lost when it all gets painted and stuff. I've ordered a piece of Perspex, which has been cut to size, which will fit alongside the wall, and I can transpose in permanent marker all of this historic information. And I was thinking, yeah, that's very much also in keeping what the Bible says. Not remove the old marker stones. Don't move things. Don't lose things to history. I think we have a tendency to try and modernise things, and sometimes we lose what we've actually got as a historic reminder. It's also interesting. I don't know if it's to do with our age or whatever. We've the family tree back many generations now, and some interesting things have cropped. Maybe it's a time of life when we want to look back. My phone's trying to get on the act. At least Siri's not talking to me today, so that's a blessing. And as a quickie, what I did was I nipped on the computer to see what would have gone on this time in history. And it's interesting, a lot of the historic things follow some of my life and their milestones, and there's a whole load of things that aren't. One of the comments on the online thing was there are lots of scientists were born in July, so July seems to be a popular time for scientists being born, and not necessarily on this date, although most of these things I'm going to give you are on this date in history. A guy called Hadrian, chief wall builder between England and Scotland, he was born this day in antiquity. Can't remember the date now, sorry. So John Calvin, he was born this day. And that's, there's a couple of births there. The Hindenburg, for those who can remember, it was a Zeppelin that blew up this day in history. And the Greenpeace Rainbow Warrior that was going around the world sorting everything out in 1985, mysteriously sunk in New Zealand, one of the harbours in New Zealand. Going back, things that have revolutionised our lives without even thinking about it. The rotary printer press, painted in 1847. There's also 1956. Now that's bringing it right into our part of the for us youngsters. For oral form of penicillin had been granted. So penicillin actually got was transformed literally, so they could give it in an oral form, which has transformed lives. A guy called Gregor Mendel. Now, those who in biology at school and enjoyed it knew about Mendel's theory of hereditary. He was a monk. Basically, was growing peas and discovered the different colours of peas. Well, he was born in July in 1822. 1933, now this is an interesting one. The Monopoly board game was copyrighted. And the reason that's interesting is because Elaine and I, many years ago, stopped in the house near Lake Windermere where Monopoly was actually thought of. It was a really rainy weekend, and there's a whole family was locked away, and they literally came up with Monopoly. And that turned out to make them millionaires when they sold it to Parker Brothers. So that's an interesting one. Called Louis Pasteur. You might not know the guy or know of him, but you certainly heard of pasteurized milk. Amazingly, 1873, he patented and got permission for the manufacture of beer and also the treatment of yeast. And that got approved. And later on, amazingly, that would influence the discovery of the process we now know as pasteurization. So that totally transformed the world. What else went on? Oh yeah, I love this one because I was there, and it's one of these events that you can say, yeah, I was there, and I was there because my dad dragged me out of bed at silly o'clock in the morning to see it all happen. Telstar 1, for those who remember that, 1962. Why is it significant? Well, it was the first communication satellite to transmit live TV signals and telephone conversations across the Atlantic. Up until then, you'll remember this, you could book a call with the international operator, and it used to go all the way under the ground in a massive cable that had been laid under the Atlantic, and you had to book your calls. And there's many of us listening to this now that can remember that. You used to wait, and then eventually get a call back. This is the international operator. You and the call is now going to be connected. And wow, it was. And that was great. But now, Telstar 1 was launched, and that was going to change everything. And it did. It was the forerunner of so many things. How could we couldn't even think in 1962 how it would actually affect or start the process of changing our lives. This broadcast that's going on now certainly wouldn't have happened in 1962. So there's so many things that have gone on. And I think it's important, and I'm going to mention it again, we don't move the old things just because they're old, right? Don't just shift things away because they're old. Don't move things, don't change things. We're going to go through a process, I think, in this country where we're going to sort of review a lot of things to do with history. And I think we need to be careful that we don't remove those things actually established so many other things, because you take away one bit and the whole lot sort of falls like a pack of cards. Here we are. Oh, it's my thought for the day. And we're told we've got sunshine coming for the next few days, so that will perk up all those who are sun worshippers. And certainly the garden has benefited from the rain, because it looks like we've just had a Triffid invasion in our back garden. So it'd be nice to have a bit of good weather so we can go out and do a bit of pruning and collecting food and what have you. Wishing you a fantastic day, and real blessed week, and just stay safe. And just remember, the best is still